Okay, guys. So if you don't dey follow through by now, you suppose your hand suppose on strong for reusable components, or better still, you go don understand wetin we mean when we say reusable component, or preparing a component that you fit use over and over again, right? Okay, so now wetin we go do now na say we wan work for form. And typically, the way form dey work na say, okay, we create multiple input. So when multiple input dey stacked together, automatically na form you don create. So we get different kind of form. We get sign up form, input form, we get sign in form, and many more, right? But if you look am critically, wetin dem mean sha na just input wey dey stacked together. So that's what we'll try to do. And the best way for us to do that, since we want to create a reusable component, so meaning we want to create a reusable form. And for us to come to this our input, this our component here, then create form, right? And I will just use this our command RAFCE. For some reason, okay, e don come on. So I go save, then come here, and make I just duplicate this guy. Okay, so that here I fit call my form. This one wey this thing dey slow, so make I just come do am myself. Come here, come form. Okay, so if I save that, wow. So if I save that, right, by the time this thing build finish and load finish, I suppose see form there. Okay, so that's good. Now we go start am very simple, because for this we will use a lot of props and the rest, right, to help us arrange our stuff. So make we start quickly. So wetin we go do na for us to first of all call label. This thing still dey build sha. Massive. Why I see blank? Make we investigate. So okay, good. So this one go be like, make I say form, or rather, so make I just say title. Then inside here I go just call a div. So inside this div here I go call input, right? And do this. So inside the under the input I go want icon. So make I just do div and just do icon. So if I save, we go see something, but make we continue. So for the CSS wey we want here to be flex. I go want ITC, so that everything go dey center, right? Make sense like that. Then I go say border rounded to be MD. What else again we fit apply? Okay, so this thing long reach the end. So make we just give am a width of, let's say 400 px, right? So that one go make better sense. Okay, so now make we start. So if I come here, you will see our input, but at the moment we need to say anything. So make I just call height. So make we give am this height. Okay, so here sef I go come here and say class name. Make I do border 0 and overlay. So I'll just outline none, right? So that we no go dey see this. This is the outline. So now we need to see them again. So that's good. So here now I go say px2, so that this thing no dey touch the end. Makes sense like that. Then for here I go just do flex 1. So the idea now say make this input occupy the whole available space. Okay, so like this now, this thing make sense, right? So okay, so now the next thing we will go do now na to make sure say this thing this icon here, we fit place different icon wey we want and for here as well. So wetin I go do now say I go just come here say oops and say interface I form. This should be like most say reusable input rather than calling it reusable form, right? It make better sense like that. So I go say title would be a string. What else again? Okay, so make I call placeholder. So I will say title place. So that one will be a string as well. Then I know say we get icon, right? So this icon I will make an optional because we fit get some stuff so you no need icon, right? So here now I go call am fc, right? And that one will be I form. So inside here I'll deconstruct title place, and of course we get icon. So this icon no go be string, so this icon will be react node, right? Okay, so here go oops. So here go be title, and for our placeholder, so more come here say place so that one will be inside our inputs. Okay, so I will say place holder, and that would be title place. So makes sense like that, right? So once we do this, so I dey see this error. So wetin we remove, we no close here. Okay, so once we do that we get everything. So this is now blank. So to fill that up inside this our input or inside this our form, we can say, oh, we need the title. So this could be like mostly would say name. So would say say please enter your name. Okay, good. Then I can now come here and say icon. Since I say name, then me using people makes sense. So I'll just say that md okay, must say this md person. So for some reason this search is slow. Okay, so we've applied all of these, so we should see some stuff here once this stuff is done compiling. Okay, so you can see how simple it is, right, for us to work on that. Beautiful. So you enter, which is good. Now I feel this is too big, so I can come to my form, and inside here I can call class name, and I'll say text to be 12px, and I might want to say font to be semi-bold, right? So makes sense that way, right? Then another thing I might want to do is to call class name, and I can say bm and let's say 3 and save that. So the reason for that is so that if I come here and duplicate, right, would get two form, and I can come here and say so let's say this would be like email, please enter your email, and yeah, I don't know if there is email, but let me see. Come up here and call email. You get email, we'll see it, but I don't know if we have something like that. But majorly, right, that's it, right? So we could pass as many icons as possible, right? And ULA makes sense, right? So we're giving them that option to do that. And for some, you would see search. So make acute sense. So this is how we can create reusable form. But there's something we need to work on, like for example, so by default, form should have action, right? But you can see that I don't have access. Sorry, input should have name, right? But you can see that I don't have access to that, right? So again, what we're going to do is, for me to come here, I need to extend this, right? So I would say extend from so I could say input HTML attribute, and that would be, I can say HTML input element. So once I do that, automatically I can now have access to, remember it's input, right? So what I did here is for input. So I can now come here and just so first of all, come here and deconstruct all the element sorry, and take the remains, take everything that exists inside that input. Then I can now come here and now say spread that props and save. So everything should be fine, or everything would be fine. Now if I come here, I can now see that name is no more shouting, name is good. And of course, like I explained, right, I think we should give this thing input rather than calling it form, right? So let me just come here and say in input. I feel it bears a better name like this than what I have there. Right, so I feel it bears a better name calling it input than calling it form, right? So I'm not expecting it to crash, right? Everything should still be fine. Now, so I can now wrap this guy inside a form, right? So for example, let me experiment on what I mean. So let me just take this, come down here, or come down here, paste here. So inside there we can do form. So inside this form we call input, right? Make acute sense. So would have a name of name, and would have icon of, let's say, md person. Then would have title to be equals to, let's say, name, and lastly would have title place, and that would be enter name. Okay, so let me just duplicate this and have it with almost the same style. So I'm going to say here email, so name would be email, and here would be email. So save that, would see that. So inside here I can now call my button, and I would say submit, right? So would have that. So let's see what happened. ogbonge. Okay, good. So would have submit, right? Let me save here. So by default, it should take the primary, right? Which is what we just set, right? So good, submit. Now I can come here and say, sorry, this should have a type which would work of what? Submit, right? And inside this form, we can have action, and this action, let's say on handle, right? So let's work on this on handle. So if I come here now, I'm going to say const on handle to be equals to this, right? Why here should be form data, which should be form data. And so we could say const name is equals to form data dot get name, and we can have this would be email, and here I can say email. So let's just say console log name, console log name comma email. So if we save that, and if I come here and I say Peter, and I come here and I say get to dev at so that thing just refreshed. So let's say Peter, and here we'll say get to dev at test.com, right? And I hit here Hula, so we can see this information. So we've successfully designed an input that is reusable, so we can use it over and over again. So now let's address something, and what I want to address here is, what if I want to change, let's say, this color here, right? So first of all, how do we change this color? So if I come to my input, right? So this is what is controlling our border color, right? So I can come here and say border, let me say blue. What am I doing? So let me say let's say 950. So if we save that, at the moment we can't see anything, right? That's fine. So, and I say border 1. So let's see. So I'm not seeing my border, and that's what I want. So why am I not seeing the border? So that's, let's say 1. So I need 1. So for some reason 1 is not showing. So let's say 1 px. Okay, good. So now we can see this, right? So let me copy here and come here, let's say here, and I say class name, and I put this, but I want it to be, let's say, red, right? And save. It can't override, right? And I believe you understand why. So how do we solve this problem? So right, to solve this problem, would need our tailwind merge, right? We need our tailwind merge. So let's import it. I'm going to say import from tailwind merge. So say I go say t tailwind merge, right? Save that. Now, wetin the next thing we go do now for us to come so now this place here and they responsible for this design, right? So wetin I go do now to just cut, in fact, I to just cut here comot. So if I cut and comot, I go call this, then I'll call my tailwind merge. So remember saying go take two arguments, right? So the first one we go put, oops, later I want to now to remove this, right? Then why the second argument will, so most say first to make sure say nothing happen, our code still dey run fine, right? So we dey say our code is still dey run fine, right? Then the second thing we'll come do now to call class name. So if we call class name, let's see whether im go shout. Okay, so im need dey shout at the moment, but so I expect am to shout, right? Because he no know wetin this guy be. So wetin we go come do now na to come here and call that our class name. So if we call this our class name, still I'm not sure say e go work sha, but make we see, right? Then I will show now wetin we go do to fix that error. So more wait small, make this thing refresh. So once thing refresh, everything go dey fine, beautiful. So you see say now we fit override the css, and it dey very very simple. So depending on wetin you want to, right, just make perfect sense, right? So should in case you get any problem, right, you need to understand or you no understand wetin just happen, if you just drop comment, right, so that I will look into am and immediately attend to am. But basically na like this we fit create reusable form or reusable input, then we go come stack am to form a form. I guess say that one no be, e no too hard, right? So now here we go stop, right? So for the next class we go do more interesting stuff. Thank you very very much. Peace out.